love is gone, that your love is gone.
It's not every day you wake up to the sound of your mother screaming from somewhere throughout the house. I get out of bed and head in the direction her scream had come from. When I go to the living room, I see my father hanging upside down, arms tied and bound behind his back. His neck has been slit from ear to ear. He has been gutted with everything hanging out. And along with that, he's been castrated. One of his cheeks has been cut out. Half of one of his ears has been cut off, and he's missing an eye. I walk around to see if anything is on the back of him. I find a note and a CD attached to his back. I walk up and take the CD and note off of him. You must be thinking, why don't you or your mother call the police? Well, you see, my family isn't associated with the greatest of people and would most likely go to jail along with those said people if caught. So that's why we can't or won't call the police. I'm not a virgin of hiding dead bodies. But I'm sure Jian has people to do that, so I won't have to. Jian isn't a man you can mess with and think about it later. He's a man who expects his payment immediately after he's done with whatever you've asked of him. If he doesn't get what you've promised him, he comes and you or your family members pay for it with their lives. No one has ever seen Jian, much less heard him speak. He's silent and mysterious, but deadly and dangerous, that would make some people more interested in him, like me. When you want to make deals with him, you have to meet him at night in an alley somewhere. You hand him a note, he leaves, and if you don't get a message back from him, he won't do what you asked of him. I walk back to my room with the note and CD in hand. I get my laptop and sit on my bed. I set my laptop and the CD on my bed before unfolding the note to read what it says. Dear Kim Taehyung, your father picked you as the source of payment since he couldn't pay what I wanted him to pay. I didn't nor planned on telling him that you already belonged to me because of your mother until I made the video. I wasn't done with what she asked me to do until now. I know you were planning on leaving because all of your family members minus your grandparents and beauty queen are jealous of you because of how beautiful you are. You are too beautiful to be compared against. Your mother wanted me to kill you, but she changed her mind once she found out I was never going to do it. If anyone else tries to, they have to go through me, and that's not a good thing for them in the end. Your mother wanted me to kill your father the most out of the both of you, and since he asked me to do something for him, which I have already done. So now you know why this happened? I will be coming to get you soon. Pack anything and everything that belongs to you, anything you want or need. I know you've been wanting to leave, and now you're able to. When you're done reading this, watch the CD, it'll give you a concept of what happened. But I'm not like others, I don't record the gruesome act, just what happens before it happens. Don't forget to pack. I'll be coming soon for you. Deadly yours, Jian. I put the letter down, grabbing my laptop and the CD. I open my laptop, turning it on, and put the CD in. I go to the File tab and find one single video from it. I click on it and press play. The screen is black with the sound of laughter far off. The camera moves in the direction of the laughter until the camera gets a hint of light. The camera slowly moves towards the light. Once the camera was in closer to the light, the scene blurs for a second, then clears up. The screen reveals the room full of naked men and women. I look closer to see that one of the men is my father, and I don't see my mother, which would be odd. This in general is odd. The camera moves to show a man standing beside the door. Jian hands him a piece of paper before pointing to my father. The man nods and heads inside. He goes up to my father and hands him the piece of paper before coming back into the hallway. Jian hands the man an envelope. The man nods, then leaves. My father eventually comes out. His face contorts from annoyance to shock before settling on fear. Jian, why are you here? We already talked about payment. My father says nervously. Jian motions for him to read what's on the paper. My father reads what's on it before looking up. What do you mean Taehyung is out of the question? Jian must have motioned for him to read what's on the paper once again because he does. What do you mean Taehyung already belongs to you? I never gave him to you. My father looks down at the paper once more. My wife asked you to do something that you haven't yet finished because it was two separate things. He pauses for a minute. I told you who I picked to kill as payment, and that was Taehyung. You know I can't pay you any other way for what I asked. My father turns the paper over, looking down at it as he reads what it says. So you're telling me that you were never going to kill Taehyung? Oh, I just realized something. Jian not finishing a request. Well, this is a first. Wait until I tell everyone about this, they will never go to you for anything again. A few minutes pass and my father's face changes from a smirk to fear once again as he starts to back away. Jian puts the camera down, angling it so that it catches everything that's going on. I see Jian come into the camera's view. My father looks like he wants to run, but he doesn't because he knows he's not going to get away, so he just stands there. Jian rears back and punches my father in the face, knocking him out. Jian comes back and picks up the camera. The screen goes black and the video ends. I turn off my laptop before closing it. I set it aside before getting off my bed to pack my things. When I'm done, I look around to see if I'm missing anything. When I see that I've got everything, I lay down on my bed and play on my phone. I wake up a few hours later. I sit up looking around to find I'm no longer in my room. I see movement at the door. I turn my head towards it to see someone standing there. I look more closely to see it's someone I know. My eyes go wide. Yoongi? I ask in a questioning, quiet voice, almost not audible. Yes, I'll be back. I have to tell Jian that you're awake, he says before he walks out, closing the door behind him. A few minutes later, instead of someone coming back, I hear yelling. You do not tell me what to do. You are not the one who is in charge. I am. If you think I kidnapped him, you're dead wrong. He knew I was coming to get him. He willingly packed his things so that he could leave. I knew he wanted to leave and gave him the opportunity to do so. He did this willingly. I may be a ruthless killer, but unless I absolutely have to, I do not kidnap people. Plus, he was given to me by his mother, who was planning to kill him along with his father until I made her change her mind by changing the deal. I saved him, and if I had outright said no, she would have gone to someone else. I'm not going to kill someone who doesn't deserve it, unlike other people who do. That's why we track and watch everyone who we are asked to kill, because I'm not going to kill someone who doesn't deserve it. Also, who are you to yell at me? If you think about it, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Taehyung. He's the one who brought us all together. Jimin, I don't know what your problem is with him, but you better fix it, cause I'm not going to put up with your shit. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to see Taehyung. I listen to the voice of who is speaking and realize that I know the voice of who it belongs to. That voice I haven't heard for a while and I have missed. That voice belongs to the man whom I love and owns my heart. The person my heart yearns for but can't have yet. The one who left mysteriously without a word after promising that he would never leave me. That voice belongs to Jungkook. As the reality of it all hits me, I break down. As I am crying, I don't realize anyone has come in until I feel a hand on my shoulder, making me look up into familiar dark brown eyes. Anger washes over me. I start to hitting and yelling at him. You jerk! You fucking jerk! You left me! You left me! You promised me! You promised me you would never leave! You broke your promise! You broke it! You left me! I say, crying as he blocks my hits. He grabs a hold of my wrists. I know, Taehyung. I know I promised you. I'm sorry I broke my promise. I never meant to hurt you. I was trying to protect you, but in the end, all I did was hurt you, which wasn't my intention. I did make good on one of my other promises. The promise I would help you get away from your parents, and I have done that. I did keep one of my promises, and this time I'm not going to leave you. You are safe with me, he says as he brings me into a hug as I continue to cry. We stay like this for a few minutes, even after I've calmed down, until someone clears their throat. I look up to its Park Jimin, Jungkook's longtime boyfriend. Hey babe, you need something? Jungkook asks as I force myself not to roll my eyes. Nope, just seeing if the two of you were okay, Jimin says, lying. I can tell Jungkook knows he's lying. Oh, Jin Hyung told me to tell you he's going to start dinner, and it'll be ready in a little bit, he says, looking around before leaving. I roll my eyes. Mine and Jimin's relationship has never been a good one. We tried being friends, but were never able to accomplish it in the slightest. He knows I love Jungkook, and he has threatened me on it. I never told Jungkook, obviously, but if I had told him when we were younger, he would have thought I was the one who was lying, and I didn't want that. Jungkook has always been oblivious to my feelings, so he's never seen them, or he just chooses not to see them. I'm not going to push him to see them if he sees them or not. At least not yet. Jungkook, you can go down if you want. I'm fine on my own at the moment. Taehyung, I know what you're trying to do and why. When I was younger, I could never decipher some of your emotions. I always wanted to know what they were, but now I know. It's the same emotions I see when I look at Namjoon staring at Jin. It's the same emotions I see when Hoseok is staring at Jimin when he thinks no one is looking, but what he doesn't know is that I always am. It's the same emotions when I see Yoongi looking at both Jimin and Hoseok. I never see that look when I see Jimin looking at me. Truthfully, I thought you would hate me once you knew who I was and what I do for a living. Why don't you? He asks. Well, you see, my father did a lot of things that weren't exactly legal, and the same goes for my mother, as you now already know. I wasn't surprised when my father hired someone to do something for him. He did that a lot, and the same goes for my mother. I'm the oddball of the family. Yes, I do some things that are illegal and dangerous, but not to the point I owe people money, but it would be the other way around in all honesty. I get asked to do things like you, except my job isn't to kill people. You'll find out what I do soon enough. I'm not saying any more about it. I say, scooting to the edge of the bed before throwing the covers back. I pick up my phone, which lays on the nightstand connected to the charger. I see that I have notifications from my cousins Baekhyun and Beauty Queen, Twitter, Instagram, and my email. I clear out the non-important notifications before seeing what Baekhyun wanted. I don't need a delivery yet, just asking for one ahead of time for black shadow dust, liquid, and pills, death syrup capsules, and golden eyes. 6:30 p.m. Baekhyun, EXO. I'm asking you a day ahead for a delivery. Black shadow, any you have in stock would do. I'm not going to be picky today. Thank you. 7:00 p.m. Beautiful Queen. I set it back on the nightstand and stand up. I want to go downstairs and see everyone. I want to see if they are still the same groups of dorks I still remember. I say as he stands up, chuckling and shaking his head at my words. Well, you'll just have to find out if they are, or if they've become inconsiderate dicks, with the exception of Jin and Yoongi. Jin has to keep Namjoon in check. We usually have to yell at all three of them, Namjoon, Jimin, and Hoseok. It gets annoying from time to time. At the end of the day, they do their jobs. Jungkook says, shrugging as he gets up from the bed. Come on, he says, walking towards the door. We walk out of the bedroom, down the stairs into the living room where everyone is minus Jin, who is in the kitchen cooking. When one of the four notices our presence, the rest of them look up. Me just being here messes up everything for them. I can tell they don't like me being here minus Yoongi, Jin, and Jungkook. Those three are fine with me being here. What did I do to you two? Jimin, I'm not asking you that question because all I have to do is look at Jungkook to make you mad. But I have no fucking clue as what the hell I did to Hoseok and Namjoon. Oh, wait, I know. I did absolutely nothing. I understand that me being here unbalances you all. We used to all be friends except for me and Jimin. The two of you have no reason to act the way you are. I understand that I'm a social butterfly on the outside, but on the inside not so much. I understand that you don't want me around. I'm completely fine with that. But just know this, if you need my help with something, no matter how bad you treat me, you will always get my help because I'm the bigger person than either of you will be. I say to them, making all three of them go wide-eyed before I walk to the kitchen as Jungkook follows. Hey, Jin Hyung, long time no see. What are you fixing? I ask him while taking a eat on one of the bar stools. Jungkook does the same. He looks up and smiles, making me smile back. Kimchi fried rice and seaweed soup, he says as he continues to focus on what he's doing. Jungkook and I just sit and watch Jin cook until his phone rings. He goes off and answers it, leaving Jin and I to ourselves. While Jungkook is talking on the phone, Jin finishes up with dinner. I help him set the table. When we're done, he tells me where to sit, which was on one side of Jungkook, before he leaves to get the others. A couple of minutes later, Jungkook comes back and sits down in the spot Jin told me he sat in. Not long after he sat down, everyone else comes in and sits down. As we eat in silence, Jungkook decides to speak up. We have 6 more requests. Taehyung, you do what you need to do, since I have a feeling you do. We all meet back here when we're done, he says as we all nod in agreement. What do you do, Taehyung? Jimin asks. I just ignore his question and continue to eat. When I'm done, I get up and clean up my area before going to my room. I head to the bathroom and take a shower and change into my clothes and grab my bag. I have everything I needed, it minus my phone, which I pocket after checking it to see who all I have deliveries for. I pocket my phone and head down the stairs and out the door, heading to my destination. Once I get there, I see Baekhyun and wonder why he's here. Baekhyun and I have an okay relationship, but he, like the others, gets jealous of me as well. A few minutes of waiting, a figure shows up, and I know it's Jimin, aka Jungkook, or the rest of the group. This figure looks familiar, and familiar by that's who I'm delivering to. The figure is Yujum from a group of hitmen called GOT7, like Jungkook and the guys. We don't call hitmen, we call them death wish angels or dwas, since most people who ask them to do anything is usually asking for them to kill someone. I myself helps people in a different way as well, like dwas. I charge for my services. I don't kill people, nope, I just deliver to whoever asks for something they can't get anywhere else. Sometimes I have too many clients in one day, I almost can't finish the deliveries in one day. I'll have to tell the guys who I am and what I do. When I see that Baekhyun is gone, I make sure he's truly gone. I carefully walk over to Yujum after taking my gun and knife out of my bag along with the holsters. I put the holster on, placing the knife and gun in it. Taehyung, it's good to see you, he says dramatically. I roll my eyes. How many times do we have to go over this when I'm working MV? I say, taking out his delivery from my bag. My payment before I give it to you, I say. He smiles, taking out his wallet and hands me my money. I give him his delivery before watching him turn around and leave. When he disappears completely, I leave as well, blending into the darkness, heading back to the house. When I get a couple of blocks from the house, my phone vibrates. I take it out and check it. It's message for another delivery. I ask them what it is, and they said that I'll find out when I get there to pick it up. They send me the pickup address, and I realize that it's Jungkook's. I sigh heavily and head towards the house. I get to the house and open the door to find everyone staring at something on the table. Hi, everyone, I'm V, and you wanted me to deliver something to someone, or someone asked you to deliver something, and you got a hold of me instead. I say, trying to get everyone's attention off of the vial, which unfortunately works. They all look up at me with anger-filled eyes, minus those of Jin and Yoongi, who have shocked expressions. Don't get mad at me. I'm doing my job, if you can't tell. You have no right to get pissed at me, I say, slightly yelling. You're V? Jimin asks, pushing my shoulder after getting up from where he was sitting. Yeah, got a problem with that? I ask him, watching his eyes go wide at my statement. He shakes his head. I turn my attention to a wide-eyed Jungkook. Who does the vial of death syrup go to so I can hurry up and go to bed? I ask. Beauty Queen's father. It goes to Beauty Queen's father, Jungkook says. Since I live with you, I'm not going to ask you to pay like I do everyone else, cause it's considered rude. I say, picking up the vial off the table, making sure it's fully sealed before putting it in my bag. I'll be back when I can. Jimin, if you do that again, you probably won't have hands to push anyone with, cause I'm not a pushover. Does Jungkook and Yoongi know that you're in love with Hoseok? From the looks of it, Jungkook did, but apparently Yoongi didn't. Sad, isn't it? I feel bad for the both of them. Anyways, I need to go deliver this, I say, leaving the house with my bag in hand. It doesn't take me long to get to Beauty Queen's father's house. I go in the way I usually go in and head to his office. I don't even bother knocking, since I witness everything with everyone, especially him, that I wish I could erase, but unfortunately cannot. When I walk into his office, I take the vial out of my bag, setting it on his desk, which I'm surprised that he's actually doing work. He looks up and hands me my payment. I meant to call you, but accidentally called Jian, so I asked him to give you this vial of death syrup. I asked him to pick up. He says I pocket the money. So you still owe Jian for asking me to take this to you, and also asking him to get the vial, I say, reminding him as I start to walk out of the room. I head back to the house. Once I get to the house, I go inside to find that everyone is still in the living room, so I lock the door behind me before going upstairs to my room and change into my pajamas. What the others don't know is that I'm a little. A little is a person who goes into a childlike mindset to get away from the stress of everyday life. I go over to one of the bags that sits on the floor beside my bed. I open it to see it's the bag I needed. I take out my tiger stuffy along with my pasai and coloring books. I zip the bag up and climb onto my bed with everything. I put my pasai in my mouth, setting Taehyung in my lap. I open one of the coloring books to find a picture of a bunny that reminds of Jungkook, so I decide to color it. I must have fallen asleep because I wake up laying on my coloring book, my pacifier laying under my pillow, and Taehyung on the floor. I quickly lean over the edge of the bed without falling and pick up Taehyung. TD Sois Tiju. MWE no Mween Mwake Shu Faz Ofs Da Bed. TD Fui Sois. I say, hugging him before giving him a sloppy kiss on the top of the head as tears fall down my face. I set him back on the bed and finish coloring the picture I was coloring the night before. After 2 hours of coloring and playing with Taehyung, I slip out of little space. I put my coloring books, crayons, Taehyung, and my pasai away in the bag. I took them out of zipping the bag up after. I grab some clothes and head to the bathroom and take a shower and to the rest of my routine. When I'm done, I head downstairs to the kitchen where Jin is cooking breakfast. I grab a glass from the cabinet and go to the fridge getting me some orange juice. I sit and spot at the table. I'm sorry for Namjoon, Hoseok, and Jimin's attitudes towards you yesterday. You didn't and still don't deserve that from either of them. It is sad to see Jungkook and Yoongi with people who don't love them. I heard Jimin, Hoseok, and Yoongi talking about them all three being together, so I'm guessing Jungkook broke up with Jimin. Jungkook cares deeply for you, but I'm not sure if or when he's going to do anything about it. I know you love him and have been patient with him for years. It might take you a lot more of your patience for him to do anything, but in the long run you'll come out a happy man in the end. Jin says as he finishes up cooking breakfast. I get up and help him set the table before sitting back down in my spot. He leaves to call everyone else down. Jungkook and Namjoon come down not long later, while it takes Yoongi, Hoseok, and Jimin 20 minutes to come down. Jin comes in with an annoyed look on his face as he sits down to eat. When I'm finished, I excuse myself before cleaning my space and heading back up to my room. I unplug my phone from the charger and check to see how many runs I have. I already know Beauty Queen has a delivery, so I don't have to check to see if she needs anything. Yo, V, we need a delivery for a medium container of Mary Acid. 6 a.m. Work, red blood. Sweetheart, if you don't mind, I need a delivery for a small container of death syrup liquid. 6:20 a.m. Mrs. Lee Jimin. We need a delivery for 2 boxes of fairy dust. Yujom didn't ask for enough last time. 6:23 a.m. Yibum, got 7. Hey, we need a delivery for a gallon of liquid acid. 6:25 a.m. Felix, Stray Kids. Since Bex is busy, he told me to text you. We need a delivery of 2 gallons of liquid acid. 6:28 a.m. Masca, Dark Angels. V, we need a delivery for 10 gold eyes. 6:30 a.m. Slade, Gold Demons. We need a delivery for 6 boxes of black shadow dust. 6:32 a.m. 17. We need a delivery for a large container of Mary Acid. 6:48 a.m. Monstax. I grab my bag and text Max telling him I'm gonna stop by telling him how much of everything I need for the delivery runs so he can have them ready for me to pick it up. When I'm down, I pocket my phone and head back downstairs. I stop in the living room to see everyone now in there. Jin and Jungkook are the first to acknowledge my presence as the rest follow after. How many deliveries do you have? Since you live with us now, we might as well help each other in any way we can. Jungkook says. 9. Oh, expect a payment from Beauty Queen's father since he asked you to call me to deliver what he meant to call me for. I make them pay when I get there, and they all know the price of which I ask of them since they ask for deliveries all the time. I'll tell you who needs what and how much it will be. When we get to the warehouse that has everything, Max will tell you what everything is even if you know what it is and how to handle it. Beauty Queen has a delivery for a case of black shadow liquid which she prefers. She uses a lot of it, which has 20 boxes, which equals out to be $2,000. The Red Blood Gang has a delivery for a medium container of Mary Acid, which is $200. Mrs. Lee Jimin has a delivery for a small container of Death Syrup Liquid, which is $100, unlike the small vial Beauty Queen's father asked for, which is $50. Got7 has a delivery for 2 boxes of Fairy Dust, which is $1 dozen. Stray Kids has a delivery for a gallon of liquid acid, which is $100. The Dark Angels have a delivery for 2 gallons of liquid acid, which is $200. The gold demons have a delivery for 10 gold eyes, which are $50 each, equaling $500. 17 have a delivery for 6 boxes of black shadow dust, which cost less than the liquid, and the pills each box is $50, so in all it's $300. Monsta X has a delivery for a large container of Mary acid, which is $300. I say after taking my phone out of my pocket to look at it. I put it back in my pocket once I'm done telling everyone everything, making them nod. Jimin, you three are going to do Red Blood Gang, Mrs. Lee Jimin, and got 7's deliveries. You need to come back with $300 when you get back here. Count it before you leave if you have to. Namjoon, the two of you are going to do Stray Kids, 17's, and Monstax's deliveries. The two of you need to come back here with $700. Wait, I'm going to switch got 7 and Stray Kids, so now Jimin, you come back here with $600 and Namjoon you come back with $600. Taehyung and I will do Beauty Queens, Dark Angels, and Gold Demons delivers, so we'll bring back $700, and in all it will be $900. Jungkook says, making everyone nod in agreement. All we do now is follow Taehyung to this warehouse to meet a guy named Max to get everything so we can deliver everything we need to. He says, sounding jealous as he gets up off the couch, making everyone else follow. They all look at me. I open the door, walk out, and hope that they follow because I'm not stopping until I get to the warehouse. I don't even look behind me to see if they are following, I just keep on walking. I've wasted time telling them who the deliveries belong to and how much they are. I should have done it while making them walk to the warehouse, but my stupid ass didn't think about that, ugh. We get to the warehouse and walk in to find Max waiting for me. He looks at me with a questioning look as he looks at everyone behind me. These are my friends and acquaintances who are going to help me with my deliveries today. Yoongi, Jimin, and Hoseok need the medium container of Mary acid, the small container of death syrup, and a gallon of the liquid acid. I say, pointing to Yoongi, Hoseok, and Jimin. Namjoon and Jin need 2 boxes of fairy dust, 6 boxes of the black shadow dust, and a large container of Mary acid. I say, pointing to Namjoon and Jin after Max is done handing Yoongi, Hoseok, and Jimin everything that I called off that they need for their deliveries. Jungkook and I need the case of black shadow liquid, 2 gallons of liquid acid, and 10 gold eyes. I say after Max gives Jin and Namjoon everything they need as I take my bag of my back as Max puts everything securely in my bag. I put it over my shoulder once again as Max begins to tell everyone what everything is. Okay, death syrup comes in liquid and capsules. It's a poison that activates as soon as it touches you in its liquid form. The capsules have to be swallowed to work. Mary acid is a type of drug that is like a truth serum, but it's also a hallucinogenic. Golden eyes are cameras that disappear when you place them where you want them, and only you know where they are, plus only you can track them. Fairy dust just knocks you out. It's basically a powder form of morphine. Liquid acid is what it is, the acid you'd find in your stomach, the stuff that eats away at everything that touches it. Black shadow comes in 3 forms: liquid, capsules, and dust. The liquid is the most potent and fastest to work, then it's the capsules. The dust is the slowest form, as you can tell. Black shadow is a weird form of putting people in suspended animation. It works by taking over your veins and nerve system by coloring them black. Well, that's it for today. You all need to get going. V always stays to his schedule, and this has messed it up a bit. He does his morning deliveries, goes home and does whatever, then does his night deliveries. Be careful, T, as like I usually say, you're like a brother to me, and we don't want what happened last time to happen again, so get going. He says before giving me a hug. I hug back. Thanks, and that's not going to happen if all of them get to their deliveries without giving them the wrong thing. Okay, come on guys, we have to go before I start to get texts about late deliveries, which would end up with me getting yelled at. I say after pulling away from the hug before walking away from everyone to the exit, expecting them to follow. Once I get outside, I wait for everyone. Jungkook comes to my side as everyone else follows after behind. Since Jungkook gave everyone who they were delivering to, so I won't have to tell you where to go. Let's get these deliveries done before 12. It's 9 now, so let's get going. I say, making all of them nod as I walk in the direction of Beauty Queen's house as everyone goes to their first delivery. Beauty Queen's name is In. She prefers to be called Beauty Queen. We are cousins, and she is the only family member that doesn't want to kill me minus my grandparents. Once we get to her house, which isn't her father's house, we go inside without knocking or ringing the bell. Since I'm used to delivering things to her without having to do either, even if I do walk in on her doing very questionable things, not all bad but still questionable. "Ah, I'm going to beat your ass, you cheating dumb fuck. I can't beat the bitch since you got her the fuck pregnant, so I gotta beat you." We hear Beauty Queen yell before catching a girl along with Junghyun. Jungkook holds Junghyun as I hold onto the girl as Beauty Queen comes into view fuming. "You messed with the wrong girl, Junghyun," I hear Jungkook whisper to Junghyun. "And my own brother allowing it. Thanks for not helping me." Junghyun growls. "She isn't going to kill you. She just wants to teach you a lesson. If she wanted to kill you, she would have done it by now because she's had plenty of opportunities to do so. Take it like a man that you claim you are. Just be happy your girlfriend isn't the one enduring the pain, but try not to stress her out too much because it will hurt the baby. The baby is innocent in all of this, so don't kill your own child," Jungkook says. Beauty Queen starts to laugh maniacally, and I'm sure Junghyun knows what that means because I definitely do. She either plays with what messed with her, or she flat out kills them. She's gonna play looking at the human body up close and personal with Junghyun, since I don't think she would do anything to hurt the baby. It won't kill him. If she didn't know how to use what she ordered, she would end up killing him, but since she does and has known for years, she won't kill him. Taehyung, get out my delivery and set it on the table. "Jungkook, do you mind helping me for a minute? She needs to be chained to a chair while he gets hung up by his arms with the chains. Don't worry, I'm not gonna kill him. The baby needs a father." Beauty Queen says, making Jungkook nod, and follows Beauty Queen after she gets the girl from my hold. I take my bag off and place it gently on the table. I take out a few things before taking out the case of liquid black shadow. I put the few things I took out back in the bag. Not long later, Jungkook and Beauty Queen come back. She goes into her kitchen before coming back with a stack of money before handing it to me. I put it in a pocket of my bag. "You don't need to waste any more time here. Get going before you start getting yelled at. You already know I'm not going to kill him," she says before hugging me. We pull away from the hug. I put my bag on my shoulder before going out the door with Jungkook following behind. We head to the Dark Angel's so-called palace. Truthfully, I don't blame them for calling it a palace because it does resemble one. We go inside and meet up with Bixington in his office. I hand him his delivery of 2 gallons of liquid acid after he gives me my payment. "I thought you were busy," I say jokingly, making Bex shake his head, chuckling. We leave and head to the Gold Demon's lair, as they put it. We meet up with Jimin instead of Slade. Slade is torturing someone or something. I don't remember. Jimin says, handing me the payment as I hand him the gold eyes. "Okay, it's fine as long as there is someone I know who is in your group that I can give the delivery to," I say, laughing, making Jungkook and Jimin chuckle. If vampires existed, I'm pretty sure Jimin would be one since he already looks like one. Jungkook and I leave and head back to the house. I take out my phone and check the time to see it's 11:40, and it takes 15 minutes to get to the house. After a few minutes of walking, Jungkook's phone goes off. He takes it out of his pocket and looks at it. He looks back up at me. That was Jin Hyung. He says that he and Namjoon Hyung are back at the house and he is about to fix lunch. I nod and continue walking. Not long later, Yoongi texts him telling that they had just finished their last delivery and that they are now heading back to the house. We get to the house and I head up to my room. I put my bag down. I head back downstairs to the kitchen where Jungkook sits on a stool at the bar looking at the food, more like staring at it. I'm guessing we're having lamb skewers, which makes me chuckle, making Jungkook turn his attention towards me. I sit on the right of him. "You were staring at the food with a look that seemed like you would have married it, so I was guessing it was lamb skewers. I remember them to be your favorite food. From the look of it, I was right," I say, looking at the food cooking on the stove. "The money that the guys got from the deliveries is on the coffee table," Jungkook says. I get off the stool and head to the living room. When I get to coffee table, I take out the money that Jungkook and I got while getting deliveries and put it on the pile. I count it and split it 8 ways, so everyone gets $612 minus me, who get 50 more, which confuses the 4 that are sat on the couches. "You all helped me. I'm not gonna be mean about that," I say beforehand. Namjoon, Jimin, Hoseok, and Yoongi their cut. I head to the kitchen after pocketing mine and picking up Jungkook's and Jin's cut. I hand Jungkook his and place Jin's on the bar so he could get it when he got done. Upon receiving the money, Jungkook gives me a questioning look. Jungkook, you all helped me and I'm not going to be rude about it. This is for you and that on the counter is for Jin Hyung. Keep mine because I don't need it. I'm not going to take no for an answer from you, he says, pushing the money back in my hand. I look down, sighing heavily. Okay, I say before I go sit at the table that is already set since Jin has already finished. Jungkook comes and sits down. Jin pockets his cut before going to get the others. We all eat and clean up after we are done. I go up to my room while everyone else stays downstairs and does whatever.